Mr. Chairman and friends, I am extremely glad to be able to support this resolution. It does not mean that I am quite satisfied with it. There could be many more things said, but at the same time, so far as this resolution goes, it places before us the most effective, the most comprehensive liberal idea of the future that our people can look forward to once our new constitution comes into existence. But it is much more than a liberal view of things, because it is not content with placing a number of high ideals and noble ideas before our people. It also takes into consideration the need for assuring our people the actual enjoyment of the rights that are stated herein. And it is in this manner that this resolution goes far beyond similar resolutions that had been moved in other constituent assemblies, similar ideas incorporated in other constitutions of the world. And there is one other aspect in which also this resolution is very much in advance, because while in other constitutions no specific mention has been made to assure the people the right and the freedom of action in pursuance of their ideals, in pursuit of their aims, this resolution makes it perfectly clear that our people will have the right to act whenever they find it necessary, provided such action is within law and also in conformity with the moral standards of our people. This is a very important matter, because from time to time, both in this country as well as in other countries, governments used to come forward to deny the right of people to rebel against any particular law, any particular ordinance, any particular dictate of that particular government, and challenge the people and tell them that they had absolutely no right whatsoever to go against the established law or to go against the established law of the state. But sir, while political philosophers were merely content in other countries, philosophers like Harold Lasky and others, to exhort the people to be ever ready to stand up to their rights, their conception of civil liberties, otherwise any state could any day become a dictatorial one. Here in India alone, the opportunity has been given to us, thanks to the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi, to offer satyagraha on a mass scale and to claim that right not only for large bodies of people, organized and unorganized, but also for individuals. Again and again, we have been able to reiterate our right to rise against the state, to go against any particular law or system of laws, and then maintain that it is only in that way that the civil liberties of people and also their personal and individual rights can be maintained, can come to be honored by the state, merely because the states as well as human beings are liable to err, and there must be a safeguard against their mistakes, and the only safeguard that can be found will be in satyagraha. And therefore, sir, I welcome this resolution for that reason also. Several people in this country have been complaining that such and such parties have not taken part in this assembly, and such other sections have not yet been able to come into the orbit of this assembly and its work. Therefore, we have no right whatsoever in considering a resolution like this. Is it necessary, sir, that all the people in a family should be present in a council where the only point at consideration point for consideration is that the total property of that family should be increased, should be augmented. Could there be a member of any family who would be opposed to the increase of the moral and material property and rights of that particular family? This resolution is nothing but that. We are here assembled to consider in what manner the rights and obligations, the powers and the duties of every individual in this country, groups of people, and the whole of this country also can come to be raised, increased and augmented. And at this juncture, it does not matter if some of us are not able to be in this house. It may be that for various reasons of their own, certain parties have kept themselves away. But that does not prevent us from trying to go ahead in order to increase the total heritage of our people, in order to augment the total rights and strength of our own country. But sir, at the same time, I said this is not enough, and I would like to say a few words about that. It is all very well to go to our villages and to our slums and tell those people that we are going to pass a resolution like this, and therefore in future all their rights will be safeguarded, and they need not have any more fears at all in regard to the future. But is that enough? Will it be enough for those people to gain the right to life, to full employment, and to gain their fundamental rights, if they are only told that they will be able to have their meetings, their conferences, their associations, and various other civil liberties? Is it not necessary to enable them to create such conditions in life which will enable them to come to enjoy these rights that we have enumerated here? It is a fact, sir, it's a miserable fact, that millions and millions of our own countrymen are not yet able to take advantage of these various principles that we have laid down here, various privileges that we say that are being thrown open to everyone to be enjoyed. They are not educated. Economically, they are oppressed and suppressed also. And socially, they are backward and downtrodden. And for all these people, so many more things have got to be done, maybe for a time to come, before they can come to enjoy these rights. They need props. They need a ladder by which they can reach onto the stage, when alone it will be possible for them to come to appreciate the value of these rights that we are placing before them and enjoy them. Sir, there is a lot of talk about minorities. Who are the real minorities? Not these Hindus in so-called Pakistan provinces, not these Sikhs, not even these Muslims. No. The real minorities are the masses of this country. Who are to be considered to be the real minorities at all? Those people who are so depressed and oppressed and suppressed till now that they are not able to take advantage of the ordinary civil rights and civic functions of the civil rights of the people. What is the position? You go to the tribal areas. According to law, their own traditional law, tribal law, their lands cannot be alienated. Yet our merchants are able to go there. In the so-called free market, they are able to snatch away their lands. Even where the law comes in their way of snatching away their lands, they are able to turn the tribal people into their veritable slaves by various kinds of bonds and use them as their hereditary slaves. Let us go to the ordinary villages. There goes the moneylender with his money, and he is able to get the villagers in his own pocket. There is the landlord himself, the jamindar, and various malguzars and various other people. They are able to exploit our masses too. There is not even elementary education for these people. These are the real minorities. They need protection, and they need assurances of protection. And that, in order to give them the necessary assurances, we will need very much more than this resolution. But it is quite possible that we cannot incorporate all those things in a resolution like this. But in the spirit of this resolution, the Constitution has got to be formulated. And in framing that Constitution, we will have to see that there is a Charter for Fundamental Rights. We are all agreed upon that. But that will not be enough. Several other countries also have had their own charters of fundamental rights. Yet those fundamental rights had been neglected by their own governments. Therefore, we will have to stipulate certain provisions in our own Constitution by which it will be possible for our masses to invoke the aid of law as against the state, as against the government and its incumbents from time to time in order to see that these fundamental rights are actually enforced. For instance, in France, they had their noble ideals of equality, fraternity and liberty. And they wrote it down that no member of their parliament could possibly be put into jail while the house was in session. Yet that right was denied. Several deputies of French parliament were put into jail, and there was no safeguard against that.